Welcome back everybody, what's going on? This is episode 32 of my gradient mesh tutorial, and in this episode we are left with a very messed up set of lips, or at least semi messed up, because we do have some areas that are looking pretty good, but for the most part I have to add more lines and I have to start, adding a lot more color. There's just too much smoothness going on within the mesh, and I need more texture. I need more sharp color changes within my lips, or else I'm just gonna have this kind of, there's just too much smoothness, there's a lot more crevices and cracks and changes of color in the lips, and I'm not really getting that with my current mesh, and reason being is because I need to add a lot more points. Right now I'm just touching up this edge right here. I think it's just a little too bright, because this is gonna have to blend with the lips anyway, so I just want to make sure it looks good at all times. Alright, other than that, what we're going to do is we're going to go one line at a time on the lips. So let's select the lips here, unlock them, and we're going to hide my face layer. I don't really need it right now, and I'm going to hide this group. Don't want to mess with that at all right now. I just want this section of the lips here. And I think pretty much this area over here is pretty much looking a-okay for the most part. I would say this whole section is kind of where I want to be. Anything to the right of that is a little lacking. So I'm going to start right here, and I think we need to add maybe another 2 more sets of points between here and here. There's just too much negative space. So being that I just added that point, before I go any further, I'm now going to take my line and go across this line and color this first before I do anything. So I want to make sure I don't miss any points. I don't want to miss any intersections of color. I want to have that variation across the whole set of lips. Alright, so if we unhide that, I now added one more line in there. Can't really tell yet, but we need to keep adding those lines, keep adding more detail and more intersections. We want less negative space, we want more dots. So let's add another one right there. So let's go color that entire line now. Alright, so we reveal that line. Again, can't really tell that we're adding these lines, but as we keep going all the way down, we're going to start seeing a little bit more refinement everywhere and a lot less smoothness. Like these giant smooth clusters need to go. This needs to be as sharp as what's going on over here, or else it's not going to look like there's texture. It just looks like smooth ugliness right now. We just closed off this area. Let's add another point in between here. I think we need one more right here. Need more points there, so let's go across this line now. Alright, so we finished that line now. Again, can't really see, but we can kind of see a little bit difference in here right now. But again, we need to keep going in order to really see a difference. And I think the next point we need to add is going to be right in between here. Now let's go across this entire line. Alright, let's keep continuing. We're going to find the next point. Let's add another point in here. I think it's a little too hollow. Okay, next line. Let's see. Let's add one right in between this little hollow point here. And right now we're only going horizontal. We're going to eventually go over it and go vertical. Okay, next line, and you can see that we're getting all this like very long streak of horizontal colors. That's because we have a lot of detail going left to right over here, but very little detail going up and down. Like over here, we have tons of up and down, left and right, and we start to get a little bit smoother over here, and color just starts to running all pretty much primarily horizontal. So once we get over there, that will clean up. And we're going to keep going on. Next point here is going to be right here. All right, we're gonna start the vertical lines where I think we need to start. And the first place that I think is a little too hollow, that needs some more vertical lines, is this one right here. So I'm gonna put a point right in the middle there. I'm gonna follow it up, and I'm gonna start at the top right here. Okay, I think we need a point in here, or two. We might need one or two. Let's do two. Let's do one right there, and we're gonna go up from here. Okay, let's do one more starting from down here, just because I can see a little bit better where the center point of that area is. All right, so let's keep going. I'm gonna put a point. Let's do two in between here. All right, let's do one more right here. Okay, let's do 2 points in between this big hollow area. Okay, let's keep going. Next one. Okay, we're gonna move over this line and go into here, and we're gonna add 2 more sections in here. So starting with one right there, let's go down. All right, let's add a guy right here. All right, we're gonna add a point, just one in between right there. And let's go down. All right, let's go skip over to about here, and let's add 1 point right here. And now we're doing the vertical lines now because we pretty much finished the top horizontals, and we're gonna do vertical all the way across the lips, and then we're gonna do the bottom portion of the lips horizontally because I have yet to do that area. But we're basically just going all over the lips, completely over every single area, and just really giving this the detail it deserves to create this texture. Let's add a point in between here, just one, I think. Oh, here we go with the perspective grid. All right. Okay, I think we can fit 1 point in between here. All right, we can fit 2 points in between here. All right, let's do one more. Okay, we can only fit one guy right here. Let's go down this line. Let's add a point right here. All right, let's just give a quick check and see what we got here. So certainly a big difference from before. Definitely looks very scattered, and I'm gonna have to do a lot of blending to these colors here. Even though I'm getting more of a textured look now, I definitely have to make sure that my colors look a little bit blended together. But I think for the most part, I'm definitely getting a better vibe of the lips right now than I did before. I still think it needs more detail, and we're gonna need to do a lot more work blending wise to make this look a lot cleaner, because right now it still looks a little harsh, and we are certainly not done yet. So let's keep drawing. So let's add a point we're gonna add 2 guys in here. Okay, let's go back up to the top. I'm gonna add a point. Which point was I working on? Let's see. It was let's go to the top here. All right, we're gonna add one more here. All right, so let's see what we have here. I'm gonna go back up to the top, and we're gonna add, I think, maybe 2 points in here, maybe 3 depending on the bottom mesh. But let's just go down this line here. Let's go back up to the top. Let's add another point right in the middle here. Okay. Let's look at down here when we add these points. I think we need 2 points inside this section. Okay, let's add another guy here. Okay, let's go down to the bottom just because I could see a little bit better. We're going to add 2 more points in between this negative space. Let's start with this one. Okay, let's add a point right here. Alright, we need one guy right in the middle of this one, which is... What's point is this? It is this guy. Alright, let's add... We're gonna do 2 points in between this big chunk of openness here. Okay. Let me just double check on my lips here. Definitely getting a better vibe from the bottom. And the top is looking closer. You know, it definitely needs a lot of blending. It's just too large. It might even need to be finer. We'll see what we need to do with the top. But the bottom is kind of looking better. Well, you know, what I want it to look like. Let me add those parts to it. And I think that add a lot of dimension to the lips. You know, we're getting a lot closer with the lips. It's just we got to keep working at it. You know, it's not quite there yet, but very close. The texture is coming in more alive on the top, but it's still a little bit too scattered. Again, I think I might need to sharpen it out with even that many more points because we do have so much texture in these lips. Usually the lips are a lot smoother in most images, but for this one, her lips are actually quite crisp, and I want to make sure I capture that. And it's not even that far off when you turn it on and off. It does have some difference, and we got to smoothen out the entire blending from left to right, up and down with our left-right technique, which is going to take another year in itself because this is taking a year in itself. And the lips were actually, I did not expect it to take this long, but, you know, things happen, and I don't want to, you know, skimp out on drawing the lips successfully. I want to be able to make sure that, you know, it looks good. You know, I'm happy with it. Alright, so we left off right here. So we're going to make a point right there and move on. Okay, next line. Okay, I'm just going to do one more vertical line right here. Alright, so we did all our vertical lines at the top, and the only thing we're really missing is some more horizontal detail towards the bottom. So we're going to just get right onto that right now. And let's start by adding a point. Let's see. I I think I'm gonna start right in here. Okay, next line. Let's go here. Let's go right here. Okay, next line. I'm gonna save. Let's add a point right in here. All right, let's keep going. Let's add a point. Let's add a point right here. Alright, so next point goes to maybe, let's see, I think I need 2 points in between this area, so let's start with one right here. Alright, so we're almost there. Let's add one more point in that space, like I said, right here. Let's keep going. Alright, so we're certainly getting there. I think the bottom of the lips looks awesome. I think the only thing that's going to need some tweaking is the top, and it's going to require a lot more sharpness to the points, and a lot of color blending, and you can see how much detail the lips require. And I guess that's just the way this is going to be, because we have so much small color change and so much small grit and texture in the lips that I'm going to need all these points in order for it to look normal when we zoom out a bit. And you could really see the indentations of her lips on the bottom area. You could see how it kind of has this up and down topography here, and it's looking really nice. I mean, we're almost there on the top texture. It's just too much. It's just there needs to be more points. It needs to be more fine, because that is the texture on the because that's what the texture looks like in the normal image. If I hide this and show the normal image back, we could see how fine this texture is here. There's just so much, you know, like these little black cut lines or whatever you want to call them. There's a lot of these separating the highs and the there's a lot of these little lines separating highlights and midtones and shadows. And when you show my lips, there's just too much smoothness. There's a lot of color variation, but we need a lot more sharper, fine edges in that area to make it look like that. And we're gonna go back and try and get that area to look perfect. But the way we're gonna do that is we're going to do everything else first. So when I add a crap ton more points, I don't have to go back and edit the rest of the points that are appearing throughout the mesh. Those points are already going to be finished, because when you add a point in a mesh, it only changes the color of the one spot you click. The rest of the points that it adds along the lines aren't going to have any color change. And that's why we kind of got to go one line at a time when we're adding these new lines, so I don't really forget what I've already colored and what needs to be recolored. I don't want to waste my time. So that's just a quick little intermission statement right here. But I'm just going to quickly finish the rest of these lines on the bottom here. And once we can see that we have the grid finished, then I'm going to go back and clean up the rest of the lips. I even think we need a lot of cleanup in the top right. You know, we just need a lot of blending on the top lip for the most part. I just think the top lip needs more work. The bottom lip is looking pretty awesome, but once we can master that top, I think this is gonna look really, really nice. It's really gonna pop. So let's add a point right in the middle here. Always clicking this damn grid. Alright, we're gonna add, I think, one more point here. And then I'll probably call it after this point. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this episode. It takes a while to do all that, and the bottom lip is starting to look much better, but in general we do need to do still a lot of blending. We still have a lot of spots that need just some work, like this highlight right here, is just a little too harsh, so we need to go back and we need to soften up areas of the lip so it doesn't look so sporadic. Although the lip is kind of sporadic with its texture, there's just something very off and digital about the way it looks still. It's not perfect yet. It's getting there. And then when we add the teeth back, it really adds a better look to it. And the bottom is looking pretty good, but again, everything just needs a good overhaul. And we might need a few, and we're gonna need to put some more time into these lips, or else they're just gonna ruin the image, But again, we're getting there. And all of this stuff is going to take time, and I really hope you guys are kind of getting the idea and learning and seeing what we're trying to do here. And you can really do anything with mesh if you always just remember that if you put the time into it and take your time, be patient with it, you can really get any result you're looking for. It's just a matter of understanding that not everything is going to come with, the first mesh. You're going to have to do blending, you're going to have to do corrections, you're going to have to add lines or points, or maybe even sometimes if it's just not going the way you want it to, you're gonna have to start over and just make a new mesh. And that sometimes is the way you need to do things. You need to save new files. Throughout this tutorial, I'm actually saving as new files every time I have a new episode. So if I ever mess up or if I do anything wrong, I always can go back and pull recent parts from an old file without ruining my current file. So working non-destructively with mesh is very important. But that's gonna sum up this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed what you're watching here, and we're gonna continue finishing up the lips in the next episode or two. My name is Mark DiMattei. You can find me on Instagram at markdarts. That's MARKD_ARTS. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out. I would love to know how you guys are doing with this tutorial particularly. So leave a comment, message me, do whatever. I will get back to you. I am a human, and I am here to help. And I will see you on the next one, people. We are on episode 33 next, coming at you with more lip drawing. I'll see you on the next one.